Hey, hi everyone. Myself Bhagishree, and I am going to share the interview questions and answers on the microservices in the .NET Core. Okay, so these are the important questions which every developer should be know, like what is the fundamental, how we are using the microservices, why we are using the microservices, why not some other services, what are the different types of architecture. As a developer, we have to be knowledge on that. So related that, the question will be asked and how you can give the answer on that. So let's start with that. First of all, we have to know what is a microservices. So microservices is an architectural style that structure and application is a collection of small independent services, each focus on the specific business capability. These services communicate through the well-defined API, allowing for flexibility and scalability. Like every API is dependent, or what I say, every API will be considering for the one responsibility. Like I have an admin API, I have a cart API, I have order API, I have a product API. So everything is a single entity, and they have to be responsible for that operation, for that functions, and they are communicating with each other. Then second question will be, how do microservices differ from the monolithic architecture? So right now, we are using the microservices architecture. Like see in the real-time scenario, Amazon, Netflix, PayPal, eBay, like that. These are the website which is already using the microservices, but directly microservices not come in the scenario. Before that, we have a monolithic architecture, but due to some scalability, lots of load and performance issue, we are just shifting our monolithic application to microservices architecture. So what is the difference between them? So in a monolithic architecture, the entire application is a single tightly integrated limit unit, and while microservices break into down into independent deployable service, and this promote the better scalability, fault isolation, and easy of maintenance. Then next question, what communication protocol are commonly used between the microservices? As we know, we are creating a multiple microservices, but for communication purpose, what the protocol we have to be used? So we have a protocol like HTTP REST or messaging protocol such as a Kafka, RabbitMQ, and RESTful API is a prevalent synchronous communication, while message queue facilitates the asynchronous communication between the services. And the next question will be like, explain the service discovery in microservices architecture. So service discovery is a mechanism that allow microservices to find and communicate with each other dynamically. Tools like consoles or Eureka help services register and discover each other, ensuring seamless communication in a dynamic environment. And next question, like how can microservices be deployed? You are developed, you tested. Then what is the mechanism you are using for the deployment side? So microservices can be deployed independently using the containerization tool like Docker or through the serverless architecture. Like you just have your Azure portal, you directly use your GitHub code and deploy over there with the Azure DevOps CI/CD mechanism or GitHub Action CI/CD mechanism, and otherwise we can use a Docker. So container orchestration tool like Kubernetes manage and scale the microservices efficiently. This is the best tool which we are suitable for the microservices deployment purpose. Then next question we have, what is the significance of the CI/CD in microservices? CI/CD is a continuous integration, continuous delivery practice ensure that the microservices are tested and deployed automatically, and this promote a streamlined development process, like minimizing the error. You are getting the as early stage feedback, you are work on that and deploy the solution and again test it. It is accelerating the delivery of features. Then next question, like how do you monitor and troubleshoot microservices? So for the monitoring tools we have a like Prometheus or Grafana can track the performance of microservices. Logging, otherwise logging, distributed tracing, and APM application performance monitoring tools are crucial for the identifying and resolving the issues across the services. Okay, and next will we have like what is a circuit breaker and why it is essential in the microservices. Circuit breaker is a pattern It is a prevent to microservices failure from cascading to other services. So it involves the settling the threshold and temporarily blocking the request to a falling services or failing services and allowing it to recover without affecting the entire system. Like if one microservice is failure, it doesn't impact on other services also. Then next question will be like for the security point of view in the microservices, how we are ensuring the security in the microservices. In the security point of view in the microservices, we do some practices like proper authentication, authorization, secure communication through the HTTPS and implementing the API gateway, container security and regular security audit also play in a vital role in maintaining a secure microservices architectures. Okay. Next question we have a what is a OAuth and how it is used in a microservices. OAuth is an open standard for the access delegation commonly used for authentication in microservices. It allows services to obtain limited access token on behalf of a user, ensuring secure and delegated access and across the services. Next question about that, like how the microservices handle the database transaction. So it offers the database per service pattern and where e-services manage its databases. Distributed transaction can be challenging for the microservices and techniques like the Saga pattern or using the eventual consistency are employed to ensure that the data integrity across the services. Next question like what is the synchronous and asynchronous database communication in the microservices. As a developer, we know what is the synchronous communication, what is the asynchronous communication. Both have some pros and cons. Which and what scenario we have to go with the synchronous, at what scenario we have to go with the asynchronous. Okay, so synchronous communication involves direct, immediate request to a database, while asynchronous communication uses a messaging queue to decouple the services from the database. Asynchronous communication can enhance the scalability and fault tolerance. And next question on that we have like what are the key challenges in the testing microservices? For the testing microservices involved are challenges such as like service dependency, data management, maintaining test environment, strategy like contract testing or consumer driven will be a main task I will say like considering for the testing in the microservices. And next question about that we have like how you perform end-to-end testing in microservices. So end-to-end testing in microservices require tool like Postman or tool that facilitate API testing. Docker can be used to containerize service and create a testing environment and that closely mimic the production setup. Next question we have like how do microservices integrate with micro frontends? Micro frontend is an architectural style where the user interface is composed of loosely coupled, independently deployable components. Integration between microservices and micro frontend is typically achieved through the API gateway, a backend for the frontend services. And next question we have like how you implement the synchronous communication between the two microservices using the REST API in the ASP.NET Core. So for that I already having some example you see in the API controller. We have a one of the microservices class controller and in that I have a one of the method like see in the invoke microservice. It is a custom microservices like one of the custom microservices we are created and which is we are in working with the invokes microservices method. We have a async and await keyword which we are using for the async communication purpose. Okay, now next question I have like what is the various method for service to service communication in ASP.NET Core microservices? Compare and contrast HTTP based communication using the HTTP client and message based communication using a message queues highlights scenario where each approach is most suitable. So in ASP.NET Core microservices, service to service communication can be achieved through the HTTP calls using the HTTP client or through message queue like RabbitMQ or Azure Service Bus. HTTP is suitable for synchronous communication, while message queue are preferable for async and decoupled interactions, providing the better scalability and fault tolerance. So these are the best suitable answer which we can give on this particular questions. And hope you like it this video, and please like, share and subscribe this channel, and I will be meeting in the next video. Till then, bye. Happy coding.